So in this video, I'm gonna be talking about exactly what I would do if I had to rebuild my body from scratch. And I'm gonna go over the things that I did right when I first started out in my fitness journey and overall how I would shortcut my progress so I can build that masculine aesthetic V-shaped physique. And if you're somebody that's watching this right now, maybe you're skinny fat, you're overweight, you're obese, and maybe you've been trying to get into the gym, but you're struggling to figure out, okay, what exercises do I need to do to build a masculine aesthetic V-shaped physique and a complete body? Or if you just can't stay consistent with your routines, you don't know what to eat, if you're just having all these different struggles and issues and you're confused, I totally understand where you're coming from. That's exactly how I was at the beginning of my fitness journey, which is exactly why I opened up Black Friday access to my Inbound Attraction Blueprint 2.0 program, where part of what I teach inside that program is how to build a masculine and aesthetic body that's going to make you look more attractive, more masculine, more lean, more aesthetic, and it's going to help you develop a physique that women are going to be naturally drawn to. And if you want the same type of results, then I would invite you to check out the Inbound Attraction Blueprint 2.0 Black Friday deal that I have going on right now. You can check it out by hitting the link down below in the description or the pinned comment. This is only going to be available until November 28th until 11:59 p.m. Eastern. After that, I'm going to be shutting down the promo. So now is the best time to hop in while you still can. So the first thing that I would do is just get clear on what my goal physique is. So you want to, if you're someone that's watching this right now, maybe you're starting to get into the gym, you're starting to get into your fitness routine, or you're trying to refine your fitness routine, you're trying to actually have some type of plan to build your dream physique. You have to know what your dream physique is first and foremost. If you don't know what the destination is that you're trying to get to, you're simply not going to get to it. And you want to be specific about what you want, bro. So for me, I just wanted a wide back. I wanted a wider back, but subconsciously I wanted a wider back because the V-shaped physique is the most appealing, most powerful looking physique that a man can have. It's going to make you a lot more respectable. It's going to make you look more masculine. You're going to look a lot more powerful, more strong, but also women are going to find it attractive. Women are hardwired to seek out men that have the V-shaped physique in particular because it signals a lot of different physical cues of health, like higher testosterone, strength, vitality. You just signal different forms of health, which women, again, are hardwired to seek that out in men as far as having these physical cues, because that means that man can reproduce healthy and strong offspring that survives. It all comes back down to survival. So you want to get crystal clear on the type of physique that you want and be specific. So for example, let's say for me, I want to have a V-shaped physique at around 10% body fat. I want six-pack abs. I want to put on, let's say 15 pounds of lean muscle mass, and I want to look proportionate. Let's say this is me saying this at the beginning of my fitness journey. So I started out being very skinny. So I'm a naturally lean person, and I had to go in a lean bulk to build up my physique. Then moving on to the second thing that I would do, and I did not do this, but I wish I would have taken my body measurements first. I wish I would have measured my chest, my shoulders, my waist, my arms, my legs. Like, I didn't take any of these measurements, so I don't know for sure what I was starting out with in terms of my numbers from my body when I was skinny. I didn't take any of those measurements. And you want to have these measurements because you want to know the baseline that you're working from. You want to know what your numbers are. That way you can tell whether or not you're progressing, whether or not you're packing on lean muscle mass and or you're dropping body fat. If you don't know what those numbers are, then again, you don't know what baseline you're starting from. You don't know what numbers you're comparing to. That way it's a little harder to measure progress. So if I could go back now and rebuild my physique, I would have definitely taken my body measurements. That way I would know what baseline I'm working from. And then the second thing I would have done from there would have been taking before pictures. I don't have before pictures. I don't remember taking before pictures. I have pictures of me that were taken by somebody else that showcases me being very skinny, but I never took my own progress pictures in the bathroom with my shirt off. I wish I did, but I didn't. And again, you want to take these type of photos. You want to take a before photo. That way you know what you look like before you start on your fitness journey. And again, that way you can compare the progress that you're making to where you started off from. Plus, it's dope, man, when you see someone's before and after picture and it shows you how far you've came with your journey. Like, it's a big confident booster. It's going to help reshape your self-image as far as the way that you view yourself. And it's just going to be dope to reflect on your transformation in your overall progress. And then I would have also, and I did do this before, but I would also make sure that I weigh myself. That way I know what weight I'm working from. It doesn't matter if you're going on a lean bulk, you're going on a cut, you're doing a recomp. I would definitely make sure that you weigh yourself before you start your fitness journey. That way, again, you know where you're starting from and you know if you're progressing or not. So when I really took my lean bulk seriously, because I got into weight training when I was 16 years old in high school, my junior year, I was around like 130 pounds. And from just lifting weights, but not really tracking my calories, not really taking any of this seriously, I was just like, okay, let me hit the gym, let me just lift weights and I'll just magically put on size. And then you hear people say, oh, you just have to eat more. People don't ever give you specifics or step-by-step processes as far as like, no, you have to eat in a calorie surplus. This is the amount of calories that you need to eat. But before you even do that, you need to calculate your calorie maintenance. You know, like no one's telling you that. Everyone just tells you like, yeah, just eat more. But what does eating more really mean? So that's why I wasn't really making as fast and as much progress as I otherwise could had I been very strategic and intentional with my own fitness journey. So with all that being said, when I actually started to take my lean bulk serious for the first time ever, I was like strategic, I was intentional. I knew how many calories I needed to consume per day. I was tracking my calories, all those different things, and we'll get into that here soon. I started out around like 153, 155. So make sure that you get a baseline of what your numbers are as far as your body measurements, taking before pictures, as well as weighing yourself before you start your fitness journey. Then moving on to the third point, and that is I would only train 3 to 4 times a week max. So again, I would only train 3 to 4 times a week max. And here's the thing, like I told you, I got into weight training for the first time ever when I was 16, and this was in high school. But here's the thing, so my high school colors were green and red, and we would have dominant green days and dominant red days. So 3 green days one week, the other week it would be 3 red days, and then just on and off from there. My weight training classes were on my green days. So one week I would be weight training for 3 times a week, but the next week I'd only be weight training 2 times a week. Here's the thing, I've been weight training 2 to 3 times a week since I was 16, and I still made a lot of progress. And it wasn't until like after my junior year, my senior year of high school, I didn't have any type of like structured routine or anything like that. I started just doing my own thing, and I was training like 5 to 6 days a week, and I was starting to get burnt out. Not only was I starting to get burnt out, I wasn't making any progress. And then I would take 1 to 2 weeks off from the gym because I was so burnt out. And the thing is, you're gonna have people that will tell you that you can't build muscle, you can't build strength, you can't build size or make any type of progress on training, let's say 3 to 4 times a week max. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Look at it this way. There are boxers that throw a lot of high volume of punches that don't cause any damage, they don't land clean, and they're just overall inefficient. But also, while that boxer is doing all those high volumes of strikes, he's also lowering his stamina. He's lowering his energy. As he's lowering his energy and stamina, every strike that he throws just becomes even sloppier and just even more inefficient. Whereas you want to be more like the boxer and kind of want to look at fitness like the boxer who may not throw a high volume of strikes, but every strike that he lands is intentional. Every strike that he lands is clean and it's effective. It causes damage, but also he's able to sustain his stamina and energy much better and longer than the high volume boxer. But the high volume boxer, again, isn't throwing and landing any clean and effective strikes. You want to be like the boxer that throws lower volume strikes, but every strike that you throw, it lands clean and it's effective and it does damage. AKA on the, let's say if you lift 3 to 4 times a week, let's say 2 upper body days, 2 lower body days. For me, I'm about to start testing working out 4 days a week, because for the longest time I've done 2 upper body days, 1 lower body day on top of me doing martial arts like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai. I'm going to be just playing around with doing 2 upper body days, 2 lower body days, one heavy lower body day, and then 1 more lighter weight, higher volume, more pump training for the legs specifically. I'll test that out, and then based on my results, I'll update that inside of my Inbound Traction Blueprint 2.0 program, which, by the way, again, if you want access to my entire fitness routines, my diets, like my meal plan, like everything that I've done to build up my body, but also help men that were skinny pack on lean proportion muscle mass, guys that were skinny fat, obese, overweight, help them drop the stubborn body fat, build lean muscle mass in proportion to them, build that V-shaped physique, get 6-pack abs, just look a lot more masculine, aesthetic, and build that type of physique that women go absolutely crazy for. Again, definitely check out the Inbound Traction Blueprint 2.0. I'll have a link down below in the description and the pinned comment, like I said. But I would just train 3 to 4 times a week. I wouldn't have deviated from what I was doing in my weight training class because it was working. And the thing is, a lot of guys don't realize that lifting is only 20% of the equation. equation, recovery and nutrition is 80%. I repeat, lifting is only 20% of the equation. Nutrition, recovery is 80% of the equation. And you need time to recover. You need time to allow your muscle tissues to repair themselves, to regrow, but to be a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger the next time around. Recovery is where the gains come from. Recovery is where the strength is built. And the thing is, the more you give yourself time to recover, the next time you're in the gym, you're going to be a lot more fresh. You're going to be a lot more refreshed. You're going to be a lot stronger. You're going to have the strength to lift heavy weights, which is going to allow you to be in a state of progressive overload and improve. So you need more recovery, like training 5 to 6 times a week. And a lot of guys are just doing high volume training. I guarantee you most of the guys that are doing that they're not really building a lot of muscle mass like that. They're not building a lot of strength like that. I'm telling you, you train 3 to 4 times a week max, but you're actually lifting heavy, being in a state of progressive overload and allowing your body to recover while also tracking your calories and be dialed in with your nutrition. You're going to build your physique to be a lot more masculine. I'm telling you, you do all this, bro, you're going to be able to achieve your dream physique. I'm telling you, you will. And then that leads me to the fourth point, is that you want to focus on the lifts that matter the most. So you want to focus on getting strong on the compounding lifts that are going to help you build a more masculine, aesthetic, V-shaped physique and just an overall complete proportionate physique. So I'm talking like incline bench press, weighted chin-ups, weighted pull-ups, overhead shoulder press, squats, deadlifts. Like these are going to be the compound lifts that are really going to give you the most bang for your buck. And they are going to allow you to actually build lean, proportionate, dense muscle mass, strength. You're going to be able to actually build a physique that you're going to be able to sustain, and you're still going to be able to retain your muscle mass and your size and your overall proportions and aesthetic, even if you're not training every single day. Even if for some reason you had to miss the gym for a week, maybe you got sick, maybe you're traveling, whatever, your body's going to look as if you have been training consistently that week. The way you achieve that physique, the way that you actually maintain your muscle mass is by actually getting strong, building dense muscle mass to your frame. And that's going to require you to get strong on these lifts. And these compound lifts are going to give you the most bang for your buck, right? These are going to be the 20% of the exercises that are going to give you the 80% of the gains that you're seeking. So that's the thing that I would focus on, and that's what I did focus on, but that's something that I would continue to do, is focus on the lifts that actually matter, that are actually going to move the needle forward. Not doing a whole bunch of high volume pump training just for the sake of pump training and build SpongeBob inflatable biceps that you can just pop and then, now you don't have any muscle mass to your frame. You know what I'm saying? Like actually get strong on the compound lifts. And then moving on, and this is a crucial one. Track your lifts every session, because that's going to be the only way that you know if you're progressing or not. A lot of guys that I talk to that ask me for advice, like guys at my martial art gym, guys at my fitness gym, they'll ask me for fitness advice as far as like how to get lean, how to pack on muscle mass, how to get stronger. And then when I ask them about their numbers, about their lifts, they tell me they don't track their lifts. They don't know what lifts they're doing. They just go in based on emotion. They go in based on feel. If you go to the gym and you treat your routine based on emotions and feel, and you have no type of idea of what you're doing, your results are going to be all over the place, because there's no structure, there's no intent, there's no strategy. You don't know what your numbers are. So you want to make sure that you're tracking your lifts every single time that you work out. That way, again, you know that you're progressing. You want to be aiming to be in a state of progressive overload. You want to try to increase an extra rep to your lift. You want to try to increase the weight to 2.5 pounds to 5 pounds, depending on if you're doing weighted chin-ups, weighted pull-ups, weighted dips, or you're doing some of the compound lifts that I mentioned earlier, and you're trying to increase the weight by 5 pounds the next time around, right? You don't have to hit PRs every single time, and you're not going to hit PRs every single time, especially as you become more of an intermediate and advanced lifter. You're not going to be able to hit PRs every single time that you lift, and that's okay, especially at that time when you're more of an intermediate and advanced lifter. It's like, how can I get as close to progressing consistently every workout as much as possible? Like, how can you get closer to getting an extra rep or getting to a 2.5 to a 5 pound increase? At that point, once you've really maxed out and milked out a lot of your strength gains, you want to just try to more so be in a main gaining phase where you're maintaining your strength, but you're still getting stronger slowly but surely. And then the sixth point is tracking your calories. You got to track your calories, man, and stay on top of these numbers. This is where I made the mistake. I wasn't tracking my calories. I wasn't worrying about hitting my protein intake. I didn't know what my protein intake was. And especially for somebody that is trying to pack on lean muscle mass, like it doesn't matter what your fitness goal is, whether you're lean bulking, you're cutting, you're recomping, you need to be tracking your calories. Like that's the thing that matters the most, regardless of what your fitness goals are. You got to track your calories. I wasn't doing that. And then I'm over here wondering, why am I not getting size? Like, why am I not getting bigger? What's going on? Why are my strength levels always going up and down? It's because I wasn't eating enough. I wasn't consuming enough calories to provide me enough energy to support my lifts. That's why my strength would go up one week and then go down the other. That's why my weight wouldn't increase. Sometimes, a lot of times it would go down because, again, I wasn't eating enough. So regardless of what your fitness goals are, again, you need to be tracking your calories. And the thing is, I never worried about tracking macros. I don't think macros really matter. I have a pretty decent physique. I've been able to stay lean, aesthetic for over a decade now. I've been able to maintain my physique, just train 3 times a week. I'm always in summer shape. I do martial arts. I do Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, like I said earlier. I have a pretty good functional physique, humbly speaking. I never worried about tracking macros. I never got neurotic and crazy about that shit. Just worry about tracking your calories and hitting your protein intake. Ideally, you're gonna wanna hit around 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight. Depending on what your goal body weight is, whether it's you lean bulking up to a specific body weight or you cutting down to a specific body weight goal, whatever it is that your body weight goal is, multiply 0.8 grams of protein times that body weight goal, right? Times that body weight goal. And that's the daily protein intake that you want to be consuming every single day. And then for your calorie intake, it depends on it. Are you lean bulking? Are you cutting? Are you recomping? If you're lean bulking, I suggest that my guys be in a 200 to a 300 calorie surplus. It just really depends on the man and how active he is. And the way that you get to that number as far as, okay, how do I know how many calories I need to consume per day? If you're like a moderately active man, take 15, right? 15 being 15 calories burned per pound of body weight. Do 15 times your current body weight right now. That's your calorie maintenance. And then from there, depending on if you're trying to lean bulk, if you're trying to cut, or if you're recomping, if you're lean bulking, for the guys that I work with inside of IB, I have them do 200 to 300 calories surplus to that calorie maintenance goal, or that calorie maintenance number, excuse me. I don't want them to be in a huge calorie surplus to where they're gaining a whole bunch of fat. We want to gain lean mass and size slowly but surely and minimize fat gain. That way, when it comes down to cutting and getting a lot more lean and aesthetic and chiseled, we don't have to put in a lot of work to cut unnecessary fat because we focused on gaining lean muscle mass and size slowly. If you're recomping, really, everyone does their recomps differently. I suggest men that when they lift, they eat at maintenance, but then on the days that they're not lifting, they eat in a 400 calorie deficit. That way, you're slowly dropping body fat while gaining lean muscle mass, right? So whatever your calorie maintenance goal is, you would just subtract 400 from that. If you're working inside IB, you would subtract 400 from that calorie maintenance, but you would be in a calorie deficit on the days that you're not lifting, and then you would be at maintenance on the days that you are lifting if you're someone that's skinny fat and you need a recomp as far as building lean muscle mass while also dropping body fat at the same time. And then if you're somebody that is overweight, obese, then you want to subtract 400 calories from your calorie maintenance number, and that's going to put you in a calorie deficit. And whatever that number looks like for you, again, it's going to be dependent on every man. That's what you're going to be consuming every day. That way you're dropping body fat. So definitely make sure that you stay on top of your calories and your protein intake. You must track this. If you're eating the same meals every single day and you know how many calories are in every single meal and the protein intake for every single meal, if you're eating the same meals every single day consistently, then you're not going to really need to track your calories because you already know what the numbers are. But if you're not doing that, which I do suggest that you do, and that's something else I will add that I wish I did sooner, was that I ate the same meals every single day, like the same enjoyable meals that I love, that I found delicious, that were sustainable, that would allow me to be excited about eating and eating in a calorie surplus for me specifically, and not eating bland foods that sucked ass, right? I would have made sure to eat the same meals every single day. That way I knew for a fact that I was going to be progressing. I was going to be in a calorie surplus every day. I was going to actually be stacking lean size and muscle mass to my frame slowly but surely every single week. That's exactly what I would have done, because I would have streamlined my progress even more and just eliminated mental fatigue and decision fatigue. Moving on to the next point is that I would have ate more of a high protein and low carb diet. That's more so what I do now. I'm not 100% carnivore yet. I'm around like 80 to 90%. I still have a little bit of carbs, right? I do like desserts. I do like candy. I'm just going to be honest with you. I've always mentioned that, but I'm getting a lot better. I'm trying to transition to being fully carnivore. It's taking some time, but I do, at least right now, I do like eating around 80 to 90% carnivore as far as just like high fatty meat, protein, low carbs to zero carbs on certain days. And for me, I just eat ground beef, 1 pound of ground beef per day. I'll eat a New York strip sirloin steak. I'll have eggs, around like 6 to 8 eggs a day. I'll have 4 to 6 cheese sticks a day that are just 70 calories each and have 7 grams of protein in them. I'll just eat a lot more protein in a lower carb diet just so I can get my protein intake in, just because I feel like protein is the hardest one to really, hit consistently. So that way I'm constantly hitting my protein intake. That way I'm actually going to be able to rebuild my muscle tissue, allow them to grow bigger and stronger over time and maintain my muscle. Also, I'm not going to be looking bloated. I'm going to be a lot more lean, a lot more aesthetic because I'm not consuming a whole bunch of carbs. So that's what I would have done if I've had to start out again and rebuild my physique. And then moving on to the 8th point, and that is I would have just cut alcohol out earlier. Like, I never was really into alcohol like that. I never really had like my own desire to drink and get drunk and all that. I really just drank because of the social aspects, because my friends did it. So I was just dumb in my own opinion and it was just following the crowd. I wish I just never drank alcohol at all. I haven't drank alcohol in over 4 years now. So I would have just cut alcohol out completely. Again, I never really had an issue with alcohol, but the thing is, alcoholic drinks have a lot of calories, they have a lot of sugar in them, and it's very easy to go in a calorie surplus, and a very high calorie surplus if you're not careful. And now you're packing on a whole bunch of body fat that is unnecessary over time, depending on how much you drink. Also, like, you're consuming a bunch of sugar, that's going to inflame you, that's going to make you puffier too. That's going to, over time, start to damage your collagen. Alcohol is very bad for your body, and it lowers testosterone. Alcohol lowers your testosterone levels, which you're going to then be more likely to pack on fat because your estrogen levels are going up higher while your testosterone is going down. So I would have just cut alcohol out completely. It doesn't matter if, like, I wouldn't drink that much, maybe 2-3 drinks max if I would go out. But I think drinking alcohol personally for me is pointless. I think if men cut out alcohol completely, their lives would be so much better, but it would be so much easier to really achieve the physique that you want and just look more holistically attractive overall. Then number 9, I would just track my progress weekly and bi-weekly. So I would weigh myself once a week. I would pick a day where I would weigh myself once a week, completely fasted, and I would just weigh myself once a week instead of doing it every single day. Because the thing is, depending on what you're consuming every single day, like, your body weight's going to go up and down. It's going to look like it's fluctuating if you weigh yourself every single day, and it's going to drive you insane. But if you just weigh yourself once a week on one specific day every single week, completely fasted, that's going to give you more of an accurate assessment of where your weight is. That way you see if you're making progress on the scale. But also, the scale doesn't always tell the truth. You can stay at the same weight, but you actually dropped body fat and gain lean muscle mass, right? Or you could be losing weight, but maybe you're also losing muscle mass because you're maybe in too much of a deficit and you're not eating enough protein to rebuild and maintain your muscle mass. You know what I'm saying? Or your weight could be going up on the scale and maybe your goal is to lean bulk, but you're putting on more body fat than muscle. So the scale doesn't always tell you the full story. It gives you an idea of where you're at. It doesn't tell you the full story, but that's why you want to be taking your measurements. That's why I mentioned earlier, take your body measurements. And I would suggest that you measure your body every 2 weeks. That way you can see, okay, I'm making progress. I'm gaining weight on the scale, but my waist is still the same. And that's good if you're someone that's lean bulking, because that means that you're putting on more muscle mass than fat. Or if you're someone that is recomping, your weight on the scale is the same, but you see that your waist is going down. But maybe you see that your chest is getting bigger, your shoulders are getting bigger, your arms are getting bigger. Or if you're someone that you're losing weight on the scale, but because you actually measured your waist before when you first started out, and then you measure it again, you see that your waist is getting smaller. You're more than likely dropping body fat. So the scale doesn't always tell the truth, but that's why having your measurements for your body is going to also give you a good assessment of your progress. And like I said, I would just measure yourself every other week, so twice a month. That way you can see if you're making actual progress. It's hard to tell after just 1 week, but around 2 weeks, you'll have more data and you'll be able to see, okay, am I actually making progress? And then you want to make sure that you're taking progress pictures bi-weekly as well, because the eye test is also going to be a great indicator if you're making progress. Can you tell like you're adding a little bit of size, but you look lean in the waist, let's say? Or can you tell that you're dropping body fat, but you're also gaining a little bit of lean muscle mass? Or you can tell that you're dropping stubborn body fat if you're someone that's more overweight and obese. Like, the progress pictures that you take are going to be a lot more helpful to you because of the eye test. Because the weight on the scale can say one thing, but if your body looks like it's visually improving based on whatever your specific fitness goals are, that's where the truth lies, as well as the measurements, right? The measurements that you're tracking for your body. Then moving on to the next point, and this is just personally for me, I would have just done martial arts a lot sooner, because martial arts, I believe, this is me, when it comes to body mastery and capability and functionality as a man, I think building your body up packing on lean muscle mass and size and proportion and just looking more aesthetic, looking like a superhero, looking like a fighter, looking like a ninja, right? I think that's level one. But I think level two, after you achieve the physique that you want, is learning how to fight and actually use it for combat and for self-defense and just for functionality. That's just my own perspective. You may not agree, and that's okay. You don't have to. But I would have done martial arts a lot sooner. I would have done Muay Thai. I would have done Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu a lot sooner. I probably would have had to consume a little bit more calories than I actually did when I first started out on my fitness journey, because I would have been burning more calories, but I would have still done it because martial arts is also a great way of staying lean, because at least for me, I sweat a lot. I burn a bunch of calories. So it's easy for me to stay lean and aesthetic all year round, because I look at martial arts as a form of fun cardio. It's something that gets me moving. It has moderate to high intensity to it. I'm gonna get a good sweat in. I'm gonna burn calories. It's gonna be easier for me to burn body fat and maintain the physique that I have in a fun and sustainable way. That's key. You want to be able to achieve your dream physique in a fun and sustainable way. That way you're more than likely going to achieve it and then of course sustain it. It's not good enough just to get your physique that you've always wanted and only have it for a few months, 6 months, and then you let yourself go because the way that you got to that physique and the things that you're doing to maintain that physique are unsustainable. No, you want to achieve your physique in a fun and sustainable way. And your fun form of cardio can be recreational basketball, recreational soccer, running. It doesn't matter what it is, but I do advocate that men do martial arts because your confidence is going to skyrocket like none other, and just that energy and that aura that you're going to have to you, knowing that you can take care of yourself, you can protect yourself and other people, on top of the fact that if you already look like a comic book hero but you can fight like one too, like, bro, I don't want to just look like Nightwing physically. I want to be able to fight like him. I don't want to look like Daredevil in the body or Batman in the body. I want to be able to fight like them. That's me though, and as you can see, I got the Bane shirt, right? Shout out to Bane. But that's just me, man. And then the last point, and this is more so a mindset strategy or framework rather, and that is just make fitness a lifestyle, man. Just make fitness a lifestyle. Don't be so much in a rush to progress and hit numbers and put a lot of pressure on yourself to, you know, like, oh, I gotta make this amount of weight by this certain day or by this week, or I gotta hit this PR this coming workout, or else I'm not gonna be strong, or else I'm gonna feel bad. Like, don't stress yourself out. Have urgency. I've heard this saying before, and that is be impatient with the inputs, but be patient with the outputs. I repeat, be impatient with the inputs, meaning have urgency, focus on doing the things that are in your control, showing up to the gym, lifting weights, tracking your lifts, tracking your calories, tracking your progress, your body measurements, the weight on the scale, the progress pictures. Do all those things that are in your control, but be patient with the results, be patient with the outputs. But understand that fitness should be a lifestyle. As long as you're alive, you got time. I repeat, as long as you're alive, you got time. There's no rush. Have urgency, but there's no rush. I'm not in a rush to crush PRs right now or pack on another 5 to 10 pounds of lean muscle mass. I'm not worried about that stuff, because as long as I'm alive, yeah, you're gonna have a prime time in your life, like from your 20s to like early 50s, let's say, or like late 40s. That's gonna really be like the prime time for you to build your body up. I understand that, but I'm only 29. I got time. As long as I'm alive, I got time. But look at fitness as a lifestyle. That's your training routine. That's your diet. The amount of days that you work out. Like, it should feel effortless. It should feel like somebody copy and pasted your dream physique onto your body, because the way that you would have then achieved your dream physique would have felt so easy and almost like a cheat code, almost like you stole that body from somebody, or you photoshopped the body onto you and you were just able to ask Cosmo and Wanda from Fairy Odd Parents if they can just magically give you the physique that you want. It should feel as easy as that. And if you want it to be as easy as that, if you want to be able to achieve your dream physique, build that masculine aesthetic V-shaped proportionate physique that makes you look strong, more powerful, men are going to respect you, women are definitely going to admire you, and build that physique that women are drawn to, and just overall become more confident and attractive, then again, definitely check out my Inbound Attraction Blueprint 2.0 Black Friday deal that I have going on, where I literally give you my step-by-step fitness routines, my meal plans, my diet plans, like everything that I've done to build up my physique, but also help other men that were skinny, fat, overweight, obese, be able to build a masculine, lean, and aesthetic, powerful physique. Literally, I show you step-by-step how I've been able to achieve that myself and how I've been able to help my clients as well. On top of that, I'll show you different strategies to make yourself more physically attractive and be able to attract women to you, which is what I help men do. Is I help men become physically attractive and desirable so they can become the man that women pursue. So if you want extra help with that, if you want access to everything that I've done to achieve this in my life and other men's lives, again, check out the link down below in the description and the pinned comment. With that being said, I hope you got a lot of value from this video, and I'll talk to you in the next one.